So, back in October, the Malta Financial Services Authority, here in Blockchain Island, published a consultation document for service providers engaging in systems audit requirements. Obviously, the document was very onerous, and the industry as a whole reacted rather negatively, I would say, to the requirements. So the MFSA, rightly so, published a circular to all clients, friends and colleagues, scaling down the requirements for all service providers. You will be pleased to note that the systems audit requirement has been significantly scaled down. What I mean by scaling down is that it's still technically there, but it will only be applicable for those service providers engaging specifically in an ITAS, an innovative technological arrangement, or a program in relation to an ITAS. But for those service providers, or those exchanges, or those VFA1 licenses who do not operate any ITA, or any ITAS as we like to call it, for any VFA1 service provider, or even a VFA4 service provider who is not operating any ITA, that requirement is no longer applicable. However, for those service providers who are not operating an innovative technology arrangement, the MFSA has scaled down its obligations by now only insisting on an IT audit. So that would certainly aid in bringing more companies here to Blockchain Island. More importantly, there are a couple of other small requirements which have been scaled down. One of the things the MFSA has also pinpointed and clarified is the live replication server requirement. And what they're basically saying is that what they actually mean by live replication server is the live audit log, which is actually the machine connected to the live replication server. So that point has also been clarified. There are also a number of other requirements which have been clarified accordingly. I can tell you that, for example, exercising a European right has now also been significantly changed, and what the MFSA is saying is that you can basically conduct your services in any other jurisdiction, and there is no legal obligation to obtain an opinion from a lawyer or a notary or somebody providing services in that country. The fitness and properness assessment has also been revised, and what the MFSA has said is that, listen, considering that the obligations for VFA agents conducting the fitness and properness assessments are already very laborious and onerous, they will be now engaging in a substance over form approach. And what that means in plain English is that the MFSA will now be asking all applicants, listen, tell us who is actually conducting the job on an actual basis, and give us the fitness and properness assessments on those people. So, for example, people like risk managers who haven't, for example, started yet the process will not be asked to submit a fitness and properness assessment through their VFA agent. There was also a similar problem, as you might be aware, for MLROs and compliance officers. In the first position paper, the MFSA had said that they would, both MLROs and compliance officers would need to undertake a test and some form of assessment, but this has been significantly scaled down. Once the MFSA will be in a position to find courses, they will recommend this at a later stage. So that for the time being, we can all operate as it was before. Okay. In terms of the compliance certificate and the financial instrument test, well, people will be pleased to note that this has also been revised accordingly. The compliance certificate, the MFSA said, will now be based on the compliance monitoring plan. In effect, that means that the compliance officer will be more responsible for and will be engaged in a day-to-day coordination of the compliance certificate itself. And more importantly, in regards to the financial instrument test, there is no longer that obligation for the compliance officer to assume that responsibility for any token determination. What the MFSA has very cleverly done is now impose that obligation on a person with a sufficient seniority and legal background, somebody like the head lawyer, to assume that position of responsibility and token determination. So all compliance officers can certainly breathe a huge sigh of relief by having that obligation removed from their portfolio accordingly. But of course, all of this sometimes can be very tiring to read and very laborious to understand. However, in this connection, DWP, as always, has already prepared a very, very well-tailored and well-structured article by one of our colleagues, so make sure you access our links as usual on LinkedIn, Facebook and on our website to make sure you keep up to date with all the latest requirements imposed on all service providers.